every 2 minutes, someone is injured due to drunk driving. This can range from broken bones, infertility, paralysis, and even permanent comatose. According to the nonprofit organization Mothers Against Drunk Driving, every day 27 people die. That means that since it's about 1:30, 13 people have already died today. And that's double the size of our classroom. On top of that, our age group is most likely to be involved in a death due to drunk driving. In North Dakota, 23% of the deaths due to drunk driving were in our age group. But not only does it have these types of tolls on a person, it also has a very emotional toll for both the family, the friends, and the driver himself or herself. And today, Dee and Hussein will talk about an emotional experience for you guys so that you can understand that better.
According to traffic safety facts, between the times of 12 a.m. and 3 a.m., drunk driving occurs the most. Drunk driving accidents occur the most. This time is pinpointed towards people in our age group, 18 to 26 about. And if you refer back to the picture that we showed, the person in that picture was a close family friend of mine. She was 17 years old, and what happened was she was coming from a friend's house, going back home, and she was hit by an oncoming drunk driver. She now suffers from staples in her head, broken bones, and as of right now, she can't walk. The family was also affected by this because the mother had to quit her job to help her daughter get back to health. And this affects the family also because they have to find different ways to have to pay the different bills that are going to hit them sooner or later. Even though she didn't have an emotional toll because of the drunk driving incident, there are many cases that people are affected by drunk driving that do have an emotional toll. And Hussein will be giving an example of that.
I also have a personal experience. It was about my cousin and his friends. They were driving to Minneapolis. When they were driving back, the driver was 18 and they were all 17. The driver was under influence. When they were around Rochester, near that area, the driver swerved off the road and hit another car head on. There were 5 people in that car. One of them died. 2 of them had life-threatening injuries. The driver and my cousin were in the front. They had their seatbelts on, so they only had minor injuries. Luckily, the other people in the other car had only minor injuries. The driver was charged with manslaughter and he had a little family get together as he was real close friends of mine. So he apologized to the family, but he still got charged for manslaughter.
According to Google, drunk driving is the crime of driving a vehicle with an excess of alcohol in the blood. However, the term excess can be quite misleading. Most people start to lose judgment with just 0.2% alcohol in their system. For an adult male weighing 160, that's roughly 2 drinks. But for most females and any guy lighter than that, it can be drastically less. At 0.5%, or roughly 3 drinks, people start to lose some muscle control and start to lose things such as being able to focus their eyes. That can be pretty important when driving, so that can make quite a big difference and be kind of scary to think about. And both of these percentages are still under the legal limit of only 0.8%. I got these percentages from an article posted by the CDC on their website. One of the biggest issues is with regular drinkers is that when they have something only like 2 drinks, they get really comfortable with where their limits are. They think that they have a really good tolerance and that they know how they're feeling. However, they are in an impaired mindset and they don't really quite understand and can't feel where they're at. So it's quite an issue when those people decide that it's a good idea for them to start driving.
The best way to prevent someone from driving drunk is to make a plan for a sober designated driver and make sure everyone agrees to it beforehand. If you are faced with a situation where someone who is impaired is trying to drive, here are some tips on how to stop them. Find different ways of getting to the destination: a cab, a sober driver, public transportation, or explain to them that you don't want them to drive because you care about them and you don't want them to hurt themselves or others. Or just suggest they sleep over. If possible, get their keys before they start drinking, and enlist a friend to help you talk them out of it because it's hard to say no to more than one person. Drunk driving not only endangers your life, but endangers other bystanders' path across. We talked about the problem. We talked about the problem drinking and driving causes. We talked about what it does to the victims and families. Drunk driving is when your senses and cognitive skills are impaired due to an increased alcohol percentage. Drunk driving costs the United States about $132 billion a year. For people in our age group, that's around $40,000. Drunk driving hurts people more than the cost. It hurts them emotionally and physically. 27 people die on a daily basis because of it. In North Dakota, 23% of death in our age group. There are 23% of death in our age group in North Dakota. There are ways you could avoid this by having a sober driver, a cab. It is not a bad thing to drink, but getting in a vehicle and driving is. You can hand over your keys or your life. Make the right choice.